Does the idea of having trees wash your dishes, take out your trash, while commanding insects to lynch all those who oppose you sound irresistible? Well then put down your lemonade, get up out of that lounge chair, and respect your druid balanced. Welcome to the Heart of the Wild webcast. I'm your host, Thawee, and today we're going to be taking a look at the balanced druids, more notably known as Boomkins, because they are able to call down beams of fire and light from the skies to nuke their enemies. If you're interested in all the juicy details about talent tree, glyphs, and gems, I'll be going over them near the end of this webcast. Getting right into it, the most exciting change is Eclipse. There are two sides to Eclipse, lunar and solar. The lunar side buffs your arcane spells, and the solar side buffs your nature spells. Also, you generate lunar energy by using Wrath, and you gain solar energy by using Starfire. Let's take a moment and go over the Eclipse meter. Your spell damage bonuses are only from the start of the Eclipse to the center of the Eclipse meter. Also notice that there is an arrow on your Eclipse meter that indicates whether a solar or a lunar eclipse is going to occur, and you can only progress in one direction at a time. So to break this down, if you're working towards the lunar eclipse, you'll be using the nature spell Wrath. And after the eclipse, you'll be using arcane spells like Starfire, Moonfire, Starfall. Hopefully this gives you a good idea about how the eclipse system works. Also, eclipse energy does not decay on its own. As a side note, if you put your talent points into Sunfire, Moonfire will automatically switch to Sunfire during a solar eclipse, and this is nature damage, so it gives you a little bit of an extra bonus. If you've ever had an affinity for mushrooms, at level 85, Boonkins are going to get the ability to grow them. They will become invisible and will detonate automatically when an enemy runs into them, or they can be triggered manually. Alright, with that aside, let's go ahead and take a look at the basic casting rotation. Depending on which eclipse you're working towards, it will determine whether or not you start out with Starfire or Wrath. But before we begin chain gunning either of those spells, you want to make sure that you have your dots on your target, Moonfire or Sunfire, and Insect Swarm. After that, all you're doing is waiting for your eclipse to proc. Once this happens, you'll be switching between either Wrath or Starfire, depending on which one you were using before. Also, keep an eye out for Starsurge, because when this procs, you're going to want to fire it off immediately. Make sure you give it top priority. The Starsurge indicators of a shooting star that rests over the Boomkin's head. Something to note is that Mastery will add an additional 1.5% damage to the active eclipse for every point that you put into it above and beyond the starting 12%. Alright, well now I want to go over the spec tree, and basically what I did is I chose what just made sense. What is nice about the reduced talent system is that it's very hard to get things wrong. However, I am sure that my spec could be optimized to add extra DPS. Under my prime glyphs, I have used Glyph of Wrath, Glyph of Moonfire, and Glyph of Insect Swarm. Theory crafters recommend changing out Glyph of Wrath for Starsurge. When it comes to meta gems, Chaotic Starfire Diamonds. When it comes to blues, Intellect and Spirit, and Nightmare Tier. Reds are going to be Intellect gems only, and yellows are going to be Intellect and Haste. I have to be honest with the new Eclipse system is very cool. It goes way beyond the needle factor and jumps into awesome. I like how Blizzard is trying to mix up the average rotations of the Boonkins to give them something to do while nuking the life out of everything. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. I am Thawee from Heart of the Wild webcast saying, see you next time.